What if I told you that the number one thing slowing down your English right now is something happening inside your own head, not your vocabulary, not your grammar, something sneaky, something you do automatically without even realizing it. Today, we are going to fix that. And by the end of this episode, your brain will never be the same.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the show. I am so happy you are here today. Because this topic, this one is so important. We are talking about how to train your brain to think directly in English. No more translating. No more stopping and searching for words in your head. Just pure, natural English thinking.
Now, before we jump in, I want you to do something right now. Are you ready? I want you to actually speak out loud during this episode. When we ask you a question, do not just think the answer in your head. Say it out loud. Shout it if you want. Nobody is watching. This is how your brain learns fastest.
Okay, so let us get into our story for today. This story is a little strange. It is a little funny, and it is very, very memorable. Are you ready? Here we go.
There was a man named Marco. Marco was from Italy, and he wanted to speak English fluently. He studied for 5 years. He had big grammar books. He had vocabulary lists on his wall. He even had a notebook that he carried everywhere.
But Marco had a big problem. Every time he wanted to say something in English, his brain stopped. It was like a little traffic jam, right there inside his head. First, he thought the sentence in Italian. Then he translated it to English. Then he checked the grammar. Then he finally opened his mouth. But by then, the conversation had already moved on.
Marco felt frustrated. Very frustrated. He looked at his grammar books and he said, "Why is this not working?" Then one day, Marco walked into a very unusual shop. The sign on the door said, "Brain Training for English Speakers." Marco opened the door. Inside there was an old woman sitting at a desk. She had wild white hair. She wore bright orange glasses. And she was feeding crackers to a parrot on her shoulder.
The parrot looked at Marco and said, "Hello, how are you? Nice weather today." Marco was surprised. He said to the old woman, "Wow, that parrot speaks amazing English." The old woman smiled and said, "Of course." He never translated. He just listened and repeated thousands and thousands of times. Now it is natural for him.
Marco stared at the parrot. The parrot stared back at Marco. Then Marco asked the old woman, "Can you teach me to do that?" The old woman took off her orange glasses. She cleaned them slowly. She put them back on. Then she looked at Marco very seriously and said, "I can teach you 3 rules. Only 3. But you must promise me one thing."
Marco leaned forward in his chair. "Anything," he said. The old woman pointed at him and said, "You must throw away your grammar books." Marco gasped. He looked horrified. "All of them?" he asked. "All of them," she said. Then she smiled and said, "Now, are you ready for the 3 rules?"
Rule number 1, the old woman said, "Stop translating. Connect English words directly to images and feelings. When you hear the word apple, Do not think of the Italian word for apple. See the apple. Feel it in your hand. Taste it.
Marco nodded slowly. The old woman continued. Rule number 2. Speak to yourself in English all day. In the shower. In the car. While you cook dinner. Describe everything you see and do. Do not wait until you are in a conversation. Practice your brain every single moment.
Marco was writing notes fast. His pen was flying across the paper. The old woman held up one finger. Rule number 3. Emotion. Your brain remembers what it feels. If you learn English with boring textbooks, your brain forgets. But if you learn with stories, with music, with things that make you laugh or feel something, your brain holds on forever.
Marco sat back in his chair. He looked at the parrot. The parrot looked at him. Then the parrot said, "No more translation. No more translation." Marco laughed out loud. It was the first time in years that he felt hopeful about his English.
He went home that day. He picked up his grammar books. And yes, he put them in a box. He did not throw them away. He was not quite that brave. But he put them in a box. And then he started talking to himself in English. In the shower. While making coffee. While walking to the supermarket. 6 months later, Marco was thinking in English. Not translating. Just thinking.
Oh, what a story, right? Okay, now let us talk about some of the words and phrases from that story. Because there are some really useful ones in there.
The first one is traffic jam. In the story, we said Marco's brain felt like a traffic jam. You know what a traffic jam is, right? It is when cars are stuck on the road and cannot move. So when we say a mental traffic jam, we mean your thoughts are stuck. They cannot flow freely. For example, I had a total traffic jam in my head during the job interview. It means I could not think clearly.
The next word is fluently. We say Marco wanted to speak English fluently. Fluently means smoothly and easily, without stopping or struggling, like water flowing in a river. You can say, "She speaks 3 languages fluently," or, "I want to write fluently in English."
Now here is a great one. Leaned forward. In the story, Marco leaned forward in his chair when he was excited. To lean forward means to move your body forward, toward something. We lean forward when we are curious, excited, or very interested in something. For example, everyone leaned forward when the teacher started telling the secret.
And the last vocabulary word is frustrated. Marco felt frustrated because his English was not improving. Frustrated means you feel annoyed and helpless because something is not working. Like when your phone is slow and you keep pressing the button and nothing happens. That feeling is frustration. You might say, "I felt so frustrated when I could not understand the movie."
Great work. Now it is time for the best part. Question and answer time. Remember, you must answer out loud. Do not just think it. Say it. Shout it. Your voice must move. Ready? Here is the first question. What was the man's name in the story?
His name was Marco. Marco was the man in the story.
That is right. His name was Marco. Marco was a man from Italy. Where was Marco from?
He was from Italy. Marco was from Italy.
Yes, exactly. Marco was from Italy. He wanted to speak English fluently. What was Marco's big problem when he tried to speak English?
He was always translating. His brain stopped and he translated from Italian to English first. It was like a traffic jam in his head.
Perfect. Marco was always translating. His brain stopped. It was like a traffic jam. That is why he could not speak fast and naturally. What did the sign on the unusual shop say?
It said, "Brain Training for English Speakers." That is what the sign on the door said.
Great job! The sign said, Brain Training for English Speakers. And inside there was an old woman with wild white hair and orange glasses. What animal was in the shop?
A parrot. There was a parrot on the old woman's shoulder. It could speak English.
Yes, there was a parrot. The parrot sat on the old woman's shoulder. And the parrot spoke great English, because the parrot never translated. The parrot just listened and repeated. What was rule number 1 that the old woman taught Marco?
Stop translating. Connect English words directly to images and feelings. When you hear a word, see the image in your mind. Do not think of the word in your first language.
Absolutely. Rule number 1 was to stop translating. Connect the English word directly to the image or the feeling. See the apple. Taste the apple. Feel the apple. Do not translate the apple. What was rule number 2?
Speak to yourself in English all day. In the shower, in the car, while cooking. Practice your brain every single moment.
Yes, yes, yes. Rule number 2 is speak to yourself in English all day. Describe everything you see. Describe everything you do. Make your brain use English all the time, not just during study time. And what was the third and final rule?
Emotion. Learn with stories and music and things that make you feel something. Your brain remembers what it feels. If you feel bored, your brain forgets. If you feel excited or happy, your brain holds on.
Brilliant. Rule number 3 is emotion. Learn with things that make you feel something. Stories, music, movies, funny videos. Emotion is the secret weapon for language learning.
You did so well today. Seriously. If you answered all those questions out loud, your brain just got a real workout. That is how language learning is supposed to feel. Active, alive, not boring.
So let me ask you something personal right now. Are you still translating in your head? Be honest. Most of us do it. It is totally natural. But now you know the 3 rules to start breaking that habit. Stop translating and connect directly to images. Speak to yourself in English every single day. And always, always learn with emotion.
Your challenge for today, and I really want you to do this, is to describe your morning routine to yourself in English tomorrow. From the moment you wake up, I am opening my eyes. I am getting out of bed. The floor is cold. Just talk, in English, to yourself, for 5 minutes. That is it. 5 minutes.
You can do that, right? Of course you can. Marco did it. And 6 months later, Marco was thinking in English. Not translating. Just thinking. And you can get there too.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. Keep practicing. Keep speaking out loud. And remember, fluency is not about being perfect. It is about being consistent. We will see you in the next episode. Bye for now.
Bye-bye. And remember what the parrot said. No more translation. No more translation.